What would you do if the figure in your window is not a reflection but something much more terrifying? Mary had always been a skeptic. She had never believed in the supernatural, in signs or omens. Her life was uneventful, working in a neighborhood bookstore and enjoying the little things: a good book, a sunny afternoon in the park, a steaming cup of coffee. But everything changed one night when a strange event crossed her path. It was a day like any other, and Mary was returning home after a long shift at the bookstore. Darkness enveloped the city, and the moon dimly illuminated the empty streets. As she reached her building, she noticed something peculiar. A light flickered in her window, even though she was sure she had left nothing on. Intrigued, she climbed the stairs and peered out her apartment window. What she saw changed her life forever. In the gloom of her room, a figure was moving. It was her, but not as she remembered. This version of Mary looked pale and disheveled, dressed in the clothes she had worn the day before, and most disturbing, she was holding a knife in her hand. Imagine seeing yourself, but turned into a dark version, like a warning of something about to happen. With each passing night, that figure returned, always the same scene. Mary, but it wasn't her. The anguish grew. Was it a dream? A vision? No one could help her, and terror began to consume her. The feeling of terror enveloped her. She wondered if she was dreaming. She tried to shake her head and rub her eyes, but the image remained. The Mary in the window began to approach the edge of the desk, as if preparing to commit a horrible act. In a moment of desperation, Mary tried to scream, but her voice would not come out. Then the figure took a step closer and sank into the air. It was an instant, but it seemed eternal. The vision of herself disappeared, but the light in the window continued to flicker, illuminating her sweat-soaked face. Mary felt the world spinning around her, and she ran to the door of her apartment, trying to escape the vision. That night, she could not sleep. The image haunted her, and every shadow in her room seemed to come to life. The next day, she decided not to tell anyone about it, afraid that they would think she was crazy. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. As the days passed, the vision in the window became recurrent. Every night, she would see that terrifying figure moving closer to the window, always with a knife in her hand. Anguish consumed her. She didn't know if what she was seeing was real or a hallucination, but a hunch told her there was something deeper, something beyond her comprehension. One night, she decided not to look. She locked herself in the bathroom, trying to drown her fear. But peering through the crack in the door, she saw that the figure had returned, closer than ever. This time, her gaze was cold and she was smiling in an eerie way. Mary felt reason slipping away from her. She ran into the street, wanting to get away from it all, but every step seemed to drag her back. As she reached the corner of her street, she decided to look back toward her window. To her horror, she saw that the figure was now standing in front of the window, staring at her. It was as if she was waiting for her. In an instant of panic, the figure raised the knife and brought it to her own throat. Mary covered her mouth with both hands in horror and took a step back, stumbling and falling to the floor. The blow echoed in the stillness of the night. It was at that moment that the figure disappeared and the window darkened. The street was filled with an eerie silence. As she recovered from the shock, Mary felt an icy chill run down her back. She stood up shivering, and as she walked away, she heard a whisper behind her, "You cannot escape your fate." Arriving home, she felt a knot in her stomach. She looked toward the window, but there was no more light. She wondered if it had all been madness. However, the feeling that something was going to happen was still present. That night, Mary decided to ignore the window. She crawled into bed, trying to convince herself that there was nothing to be afraid of. However, as the hours passed, fear kept her awake. It was at that moment that she felt a sharp chill run through her body. Opening her eyes, she saw the figure again, this time standing beside her, smiling a macabre smile. Before she could scream, the figure raised the knife, and in an instant, everything went black. The next morning, the neighbors found the apartment empty. The window was open and gentle breeze was blowing through the room. There was no sign of a struggle, only an open book on the table with a scrawled note that read, "No escape." Mary's story became an unsolved mystery. Some said her spirit still haunted the street, caught between two wars. New tenants often reported seeing a figure in the window, always watching, always waiting. In the city, the legend of the Window of Fate was kept alive, reminding everyone that sometimes fate can be an unexpected visitor in the dark of night. What about you? Will you dare to look out your window tonight? If this story has left you wondering, you are not alone. Shadows hide secrets, and on this channel, we unearth them. Share this story with someone you think will dare to listen to it. Leave a comment with your theories about what really happened to Mary. And remember, nights are darker when we live them together. See you in the next Midnight Specter story, but be careful, because you never know who might be watching you.